Hey guys, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Ayanna.
Hey, we want to welcome you to Winning by Quitting. I'm so glad that you took the time to join us tonight. But now we know that it's naturally and it's easy to complain about things when things are not going our way, right?
Right.
And sometimes it may not seem to be the right thing to do, but that's what we naturally turn to.
Yeah. But did you know that complaining is actually very toxic for your marriage and your relationship? Well, tonight we're talking about how we quit complaining. So go ahead and share this broadcast.
And stay tuned for I Won't Complain.
Hey guys, welcome back to Winning by Quitting. Winning by Quitting is a show that we get to do every Sunday evening at 8:08, where we share proven strategies that we've used in our 25 years of marriage and that we have offered to couples in our years of coaching and counseling to help them to rekindle, restore, and reinvent their marriage when walking away seemed right. Tonight, Jonathan, we're giving our viewers reasons why we should quit complaining.
Yeah.
And we're offering tools for you to consider to help you kind of promote that change that you need in your marriage so that you can win in your marriage, because you have a reason to celebrate your vow to cherish. So go ahead. As we do on every broadcast, let's show some excitement and some celebration for our vow to cherish or for our future vow to cherish, because we want to celebrate our vows to cherish.
Sure.
So we have let us know that you are here this evening.
Right.
That you are here with us. Joining us. We're so glad that you're here. Tell us hello, drop some streamers in the chat. Let us know that you're celebrating with us tonight. What are we celebrating?
Our vow to cherish.
We're celebrating our vow to cherish and your vow to cherish as well. So again, if like Jonathan asked, if you would share this share this on your page, tag somebody.
Hey Teresa, hello, how are you?
Tag somebody. So they can jump on, because we're gonna kill this complaining tonight. It's easy to do, but it's running so many marriages. So, what's the question or the thought for the week, Jonathan?
So our thought for the week now. Our thought for the week is and every week we have either a question for a week or a thought for the week. Our thought for this week is to let us know in the chat something that you appreciate your spouse, that you appreciate about your spouse or your partner. So even though we're talking about complaining, we want to just start tonight off on a positive note.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna make sense as we go through tonight's show of why we want to start. Hey, Miss Jerry, why we want to start off with something positive. So go ahead and respond in the comments of something that you appreciate about your partner or your spouse. So we wrote about I quit complaining. Actually, it's one of Jonathan's chapters in I Quit the book that we released in February. And it's actually found on page 59 of the book I Quit. And the chapter is literally called I Quit Complaining.
Right.
And Jonathan, tell me just a little bit about why you wrote that chapter.
Well, I just noticed that complaining was just like a Debbie Downer in our marriage. It was really pulling things down. It was really just taking away all the positive energy. It was taking away. It didn't really produce anything. I saw how complaining was just eating away at me.
Yeah.
Even though I was complaining about you, it was eating away at me.
Wow. That's something serious. Now, he wrote the chapter, but trust me, I did, and probably still catch myself from doing my ample share of complaining. So I get it. Like we said, it's something easy to do. And, I think we sometimes end up complaining and not really realize that we're complaining, because research actually says, y'all know I'm the psychologist, so I'm going to bring in some science behind this as well. But research actually shows that people complain once a minute during a typical conversation. So if we have a 10-minute conversation, you're going to complain probably about 10 times while you're in that conversation. That's a lot.
That's a lot of complaining.
And complaining is tempting because it helps you to feel good, because you're venting and you're airing out your feelings or whatever. But like a lot of things that can be enjoyable, I used to love bacon, right? And I could sit there and go to IHOP and order.
Love a little bacon.
But I could go to IHOP and order me a side of bacon, extra crispy, but it wasn't good for me. So everything that's enjoyable, the Bible even says, just because it's expedient doesn't mean it's profitable, right? So just because it's enjoyable and makes you feel, well, we think it makes us feel good. We'll talk about that a little bit too. Y'all, y'all know this is live. There, Jonathan barbecued today, and the doors are in that, so we have a live friend, if you see, flying around in the studio tonight. So now I'm complaining. So so it may actually think you're making yourself feel good, but it's really, hey Marty.
Hey Marty, how are you, my man?
Really. Oh, hey John.
John is on there too.
Henry. Oh, I got you, Portia. I can bring you some by the house tomorrow. But yeah, so it really helps us to complaining isn't good for us, even though it may make us feel good, or we think it's making us feel good. It's not good for us.
And it's amazing that you say that, babe. That how complaining makes you feel good, like eating desserts make you feel good, versus working out. It's painful, but it's really good for you. So actually being positive is going to take a lot of effort. But it may not feel good, but it's necessary. It's helpful for you.
Yeah. And because the way our brains are wired, and God made them this way, the way our brains are wired, our brain loves efficiency, right? It really doesn't like to work harder than it has to. So when we repeat behavior like complaining, the neurons actually branch out to each other to kind of ease that flow of information. And that makes it easier to repeat the behavior in the future. That's how habits get formed, right? So it's easy, in fact, to complain and not even realize that we're being so negative in our complaint. So, but let's talk about some of the effects of complaining that actually happen to the brain. Okay. Repeat complaining actually can rewire the brain. Did you know that?
Wow. I didn't know that. Earlier in the show, I said when I was complaining, it was eating away at me. So some things was happening to me that I didn't even realize by complaining. Yeah, it
rewires your brain to make future complaining more likely. And that over time, it just becomes easier to be negative. It becomes easier to be negative than it does to be positive, regardless of what's happening around you. So complaining tends to be that default behavior. You ever had that person that's really like a Debbie Downer? It seems like they're always negative. It's because they have complained so much that negativity is now their default behavior. And, that's going to change how people even perceive you.
Right.
It can change how that stinking thinking. Come on, Marty.
Stinky thinking.
It can change how even your spouse perceives you. And we receive the way we perceive.
Right. And nobody wants to be around that person that's like you said, the Debbie Downer. The one, you ever been on a conversation with anybody, baby, and they're complaining the majority of the time?
Yeah.
Or like maybe 90% of the time they're complaining. And by the time you get off the phone, you're like wore out.
I mean, you're drained.
You're drained from their complaining.
From their negativity.
They're right. And so when we do that with our spouses, it's what we're doing. Draining our spouses.
It's like secondhand smoke.
Right.
I'm not the one smoking the cigarette, but I'm in the room with the smoke. It has some effects on me too. So even hearing if I'm not the complainer, even hearing the complaints can be bad. Now here's the kicker. Y'all know I'm a brain nerd and I don't have a problem admitting it. But complaining actually damages parts of your brain.
Wow.
It actually, and this was a research, you can look it up, done by Stanford University, that shows that complaining shrinks the hippocampus. You're like, what in the world is a hippocampus, right? The hippocampus is the part of the brain that's critical to your problem solving and even your intelligent thoughts. To give you an example of what the hippocampus is, what is the primary part of the brain that's destroyed when people have Alzheimer's. So
wow.
if your complaining has the ability to do what happens to the brain to a person who has Alzheimer's.
Wow, maybe we should stop complaining so much.
I mean, let me tell you. So when you are consistent in your complaints and you're consistent in your negativity, you are changing even your brain.
Yeah.
Now you wonder why you feeling the way you feeling?
Exactly.
You're changing your brain wiring. You're changing your brain structure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how God wires. So if you're shrinking that, this is gonna create other problems in your marriage, because now your problem solving is altered, your intelligent thought is altered.
Right.
Why? Out of negative, consistent complaining. Yeah.
Wow, babe. That's a lot of information. I mean, you did a good job on that. But that's very helpful and enlightening. I hope that our listeners are really taking that in, because it's worth taking the challenge.
Yeah.
The challenge, the positive challenge.
Yeah.
That's what I called it for myself. It was a positive challenge. Taking the challenge to be positive.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take work. It's going to take effort to stop complaining. But it's worth it because of the benefits.
Of the benefits. But okay. But before we get to the benefits, because tell me, okay, Ayanna, that's all that brain stuff. I can't feel my brain. Okay, what about all that sadness you feeling?
Right.
And all that depression.
Mm-hmm.
And the high blood pressure, them diabetes, all that. Here we go. I'm sorry. It's like when you complain, you actually release cortisol. Cortisol is that stress hormone. Okay, but here's the thing about your brain and your body. You release that same stress hormone if you're getting ready to have a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
If you were on the Titanic and it was getting ready to sink. If you know that you're actually in danger, in that fight or flight, your brain does not know the difference of cortisol being released because you just complaining because your husband did something, or your wife, forgot something, or you are in serious danger.
Right.
So it's going to respond. And then when there are excess amounts of this hormone, cortisol released, changing your oxygen level, changing your blood, changing your energy. One effect is that it does raise your blood pressure. It raises your blood sugar because it prepares you for that escape.
Wow.
And it prepares you to defend yourself, right? But all the extra cortisol release impairs your immune system. That then makes you more susceptible to disease. Y'all, we're killing ourselves by complaining.
Yeah.
Literally, we are literally killing ourselves by complaining. Well, we're not anymore.
Not anymore.
But when we do complain, we are making ourselves more vulnerable to not just changing the brain, but more vulnerable to strokes, to heart disease, to obesity. Those things that are so preventable.
Yes,
but killing so many people. We can change. We can change this.
Right.
All right, so babe. So now, all right, y'all got all the stuff all the risk and the bad stuff that it does for complaining, and that's just to your body. We ain't even talked about what it does to your relationship.
Right. Right. I mean, like really put up the walls in a relationship, kill all the connected. You won't be connected. You won't be connected, and the intimacy is gone with the complaining. You start looking at somebody and you wonder why you feel like you're falling out of love.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you're complaining all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So
so what's the solution? How can we change this thinking? How can we rewire the brain? How can we come up with some solutions so that we can actually change and win?
Right. I mean, one solution that I had to use, and I know it works for me. It worked for me, and I always tune back in or connect with my Lord and Savior, and I go to Scripture oftentimes. For me, that works for me. Proverbs 18:21 says that death and life is in the power of the tongue.
That's
so,
right.
I mean, I had to make a decision: do I want death or do I want life?
Yeah.
And so, when I understand that our words can create physical things, physical changes to our bodies, and our words can change atmospheres. Our words have the ability, have power. So, in our marriage and in my relationship, I mean, I started speaking what God had promised me about my wife. Versus,
Wait, what now?
Yeah, I began to speak what God promised me about my wife.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I
About
get
you.
what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
Yeah.
distract you.
And instead of just complaining about her 24/7 or complaining all the time, I began to speak over her that she was a virtuous wife, that she was
Was I being
loving.
virtuous?
No,
Yeah,
no. But you got to speak to those things that are not as though.
they were.
Right.
So
So
instead of focusing on what you actually saw and complaining about it, what you're saying is you spoke what you desired and what God had promised you.
exactly. So that's one solution. Begin to
Mm.
speak what you desire.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then then that leads me to a question. Then what is the difference then between complaining? Because you said I wasn't being virtuous, I wasn't being loving. So what's the difference between complaining and just like expressing your thoughts, your feelings, your concerns? Because we're
Right.
not telling you put a muzzle, on what you need to express and suppress that, because then you're going to start having internal, you're going to start internalizing stuff, which can still cause health
Exactly.
issues and other causes. What's the difference between complaining and then expressing your concerns in a healthy manner?
Right. I mean, what I think one of the differences is that when I express my concerns to you, I don't stay parked there.
That's good.
I'm not always, every time I see you, I'm talking about that concern. Every
Yeah.
time I think about you, I'm thinking about that concern.
Yeah.
I share that concern with you, and I
Mhm.
share that concern with you in a loving way. Try to anyway. Most, that's an effort that you have to put forth, because if I have to take a break, so that way, when I do express my frustrations with you or my issues, I can express them in a way that I would want it to be expressed to me.
Yeah.
But
And
we don't stay there, though.
Yeah, you didn't stay there. But then another thing you did is that, because when you're complaining, y'all, most of the time we don't have any purpose other than complaining, right?
Right.
When you are voicing your concerns, you are voicing your concerns out of motivation for some reconciliation, for some resolving, or for some change.
Right.
So you know the difference between complaining, because you're just venting, and most of the time when you're just venting, it's all about you.
Mhm.
Put a lot of judgment into it, a lot of frustration into it. Is you did this, or it's either about what you or what you did or what you said, right?
Right.
But when you actually voice your
You say how
concern,
I feel.
it's all about how you're feeling, your emotion, and then how we can come about a change. We can come about a change, not just you can change for my benefit, but how we can come about a change.
Right.
So y'all see the difference in that?
Yeah. And I like what Marty just said right there. He said you have to offer a solution to the challenges. I mean, I'm reading a book about the power of a positive team.
Yeah.
And one of the points that the author makes is that you have to have a no complain rule on your team.
Yeah.
So if you're complaining, if you do come up with a complaint, you have to have a solution.
Yeah.
That's the only time you can complain, if you have a solution to the problem. So thank you, Marty, for that. That reminded me of that.
So one of the solutions is, you said speak what you desire. We talked about have a clear purpose about what it is that you wanted to address. Is your purpose just to vent?
Mm-hmm.
Is your purpose just to let out some steam? Or is it to really, are you complaining for the sake of complaining? Or are you complaining for a solution and for change? That's how you know if you're complaining for the sake of complaining. That's what we're really trying to trying to nip in the bud and quit. But we're all for speaking for reconciliation.
Right. In a relationship, when you complaining just for the sake of complaining, oftentimes you're hurt, you're damaged, and you just want the other person to feel as bad as you feel. So you're going to just complain to them and just
you had to punch me so I could feel that.
Well, baby, you didn't really feel that one, did you?
I felt it.
Yo, I'm sorry.
Okay,
you all right? All right. But that's my point, though.
I mean,
you're really trying to get back at the person.
Yeah. You're right.
Vindictive, with that,
right.
So that, and then that causes you to, once you realize that you're doing that, you should be a self check.
Yep, absolutely.
Because that's not right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we got speak what you desire, speak what you desire, have a clear purpose, know the purpose of why you're going to address what you're addressing, stay positive, and then be specific. Instead of just saying you were rude to me, let him know or let her know exactly what seemed rude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the behavior that we need to change, right? Instead of attacking a person's character or judging a person's character or just, let's talk about the actions. Let's
Right.
talk about what it is. Talk about the root cause. We talked about that blame last week. If you didn't see it, catch the replay. We don't want to place blame, but let's be specific about what it is that's really annoying you. Okay.
Right.
And what it is that you want to address. And when you're having this conversation, you want to start positive, end positive. That's why we started positive tonight.
Right.
What's something that you appreciate about your spouse? If I could get some help and I guess I could scroll. Let's go ahead. Let's look at some of the things that people appreciate about
John
their
says something that he appreciates.
Spouse. Oh, John says, I really appreciate my wife's sense of humor, compassion, and her smart. Hey, that's a look. Hey, bro. Look, that's a way to avoid complaining. That's a way to avoid complaining. We got a lot of check-ins here. I'm sorry, guys. Hey, Zakia, Antoinette in the building. Got Portia's barbecue coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anybody else? Let's hear it. Come on. Well, I really appreciate my husband for, like he said, like he did say, and he does it all the time. He tries to find the positive in stuff, and whether it's in our relationship or even when I come and I try not to vent about even work, complain about work. We talk about work and different things, but he always tries to help me find that silver lining. Always tries to help me find the good in it, or either the good in it or the assignment in it. One of the two. That's why I'm placed where I'm placed. So, and that helps to lift the load. So I am married to a natural born encourager, and I really appreciate that about my spouse.
Wow. Thank you, babe.
You're welcome, babe.
I received that. Words of affirmation is my love language. So,
and I didn't even do that for that. Portia says that she appreciates her husband for speaking her love language. Yeah. Look at there. Gifts and acts of service. Acts of service is one of my big, my number one dominant. Zakia says she really appreciates her husband being present. I know that's right. He makes sure I know. He makes sure I know he's there when I need him. And that's important. That is so important. To know that, don't just be around, but be present. No, let me know that you know that I'm here, and let me know that you pay attention to my needs. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times to pay attention to my needs, you had to pay attention to something previously to know what I'm lacking, to know what I'm needing. So I know that you're there and you're focused on me. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, I want to say what I appreciate about you.
Oh, I want you to say what you appreciate about me. I'm waiting.
Do you want to hear?
I want to hear.
All right. I guess I
will. As you should.
Yeah, but I appreciate my wife's fight. I really do. I appreciate her fight to make sure that we, as a couple and as a family, that we live out and we walk out the things that God has created us to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She fights for that. She's consistent with, making sure that reminding us and just being that cheerleader and just being that encourager herself. And then just being on top of it. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, B.
Yeah.
All right. Just to leave a little bit of inspiration, we've talked tonight. And tonight I actually want to use a scripture. I'm not going to read it verbatim, but it is from Proverbs. And it says, do everything without complaining and arguing. Right. When you find yourself in your marriage, having those pessimistic thoughts or having those rages to vent and to attack, lean into finding something to appreciate. Creating an attitude of gratitude will help minimize the complaints that you have, or help you to sort it out or prioritize, or even just rephrase it so that it's no longer a complaint, but can be a healthy issue or expression of concern. And that's going to help you to win in your marriage.
Right. And then, I love winning.
Oh yeah, and
I, I,
we are so competitive. Yes.
I love winning, and I'm big on sports and things like that. But I love not only with sports winning. I don't love just like when we're competitive, but I love winning in life, and I love
Absolutely.
encouraging people to win in life.
Yeah.
And and when we live in a world when complaining and negative, it drives our society, it drives our culture. I mean, when was the last time that you watched news and something positive was the main thing for a moment, or
Right.
positive outweighed the negative.
Right.
The negative always outweigh the positive. So that's around us, and so the effects of our culture comes into our relationships and things. But I believe. I still believe in that things can work out. I believe in miracles. I believe that to actually change the way you think from being from a complainer to a positive speaker, that is a miracle in itself.
It is.
But I believe it's possible. So I want to encourage you tonight to try. Like we said earlier, accept the challenge.
Accept that challenge.
Accept the challenge. Catch yourself when you're about to say something negative. Stop yourself.
Yep.
Pause and find something to say positive before you go into a negative rant.
That's right. That's right, guys. We're already out of time.
Wow.
If you want to know more ways of how to win in your marriage or your relationship by quitting, you need to get a copy of I Quit. You can go to our website, www.vowtocherish.com. I forget you don't have to say www anymore,
wow.
But it's okay.
Kind of old school, right?
I might be a little old school, but go to vowtocherish.com. We do have thank you, Portia. Thanks for joining us. We do have just for those who tune in to Winning by Quitting. We're going to offer it for the remainder of the year, but you want to get yours because we do have limited copies just to clear out our inventory for the year. You can get 2 books for $25, and we are throwing in a love notes journal. Chaywana, Chaywana is my all Korean the way from Korea. Oh hey, my gosh, girl. It's late there. But yeah, get a copy of I Quit. Right. Proven strategies to rekindle, restore, and reinvent your marriage when walking away seems right. Thank you, Marty. Yeah. We appreciate it.
Thanks, 2 for $25. 2 for $25 and the love journal. And the love notes journal. Girl, that's a good deal. That is a good. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. Hey guys, we have an ask, but really, really quick before you go, I Quit has been nominated for its first book award. Bishop's on. Hey, Bishop Hutchins, how are you? Hey, Bishop. That's my bishop, y'all. Yeah. So we need you to go to Author Elite Awards /vote. Mm-hmm. Share it on your pages. We are not being nominated for 2021 Self-Help Book of the Year. Mm-hmm. Okay, so go to AuthorEliteAwards.com /vote. Scroll over to page 11 to the self-help section. Find the picture of our book. Yeah. Click on it. Make sure you don't click on nobody else's book because your click is your vote. So scroll down carefully, find our picture, click on it, and that's your vote. Voting ends tomorrow. So that means you have today and tomorrow that you can go and vote for I Quit for Self-Help Book of the Year 2021. We really, really appreciate it. Yeah, guys, we have had so much fun talking to you tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back here next Sunday. Next Sunday, can't wait. 8:08 p.m. Excited about it. 8:08 p.m. Next week, babe. What are we doing? We're talking about what? We're talking about marriage. The D word. Divorce? The D word. We quit using the D word. We quit using the D word. Yeah. That's next week. So join us next week when we talk about we quit using the D word. Right. We appreciate you guys. Like us. I got John Scott in my head. Like us on our YouTube channel. Follow us on all the social media platforms to hear and see what we're doing. And remember, go vote. Share it with your friends. Have them vote. Go to vowtocherish.com and subscribe there so you know what we have going on in the future. And we will see you next Sunday, 8:08 p.m. when we talk about how we quit using the D word. Guys, remember, you have a reason to celebrate your vow to cherish. Good night. Good night.